Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium, numerologist, healer, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there is always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, and welcome to the Psychic Hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We have the wonderful Kristina Bloom on today, and we will be bringing her on in just a little bit. So I want to say hello to everyone coming on in. Hello. If you want, say where you're from or just give us a little piece of your day. It's always great to see you. We go into talking about the topic of the day, and then we will be learning about Kristina's life as a psychic medium healer. She's a channeler, and oh my gosh, she has just a multitude in her back pocket of how she connects and how she holds space for people. So thank you for being here. And today we will be taking questions, of course, but not readings, more so about learning about your energy, more so about being a psychic medium or a sensitivity questions or self-care questions with being an energy sensitive. So we are happy to help, but we're doing the more interview format. So thank you everybody for coming on in. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Karen, Jess, Jennifer, T. Lynn. Thank you for coming. Christine from Cleveland, Ohio. I love hearing where everyone's from. I know we have people from Liverpool, South Wales, Karen, North Dakota, Christine. I don't even know if I can say that. Bournemouth. I think that's right. UK. Angel. Hello, Patrick. Hello, welcome. Hey, Jennifer Rose. Shout out to Jennifer Rose. Hey. Andrea, hello, thank you for being with us. From South Africa, Krish, oh, amazing. Hello, friends, indeed. The shout out to Liverpool, absolutely. And South Wales. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. So to get into the topic of the day, and again, continue to say hello and be with us. I truly want to dive into the energy of allowance. Okay, so within our life, we are allowing so many things. Hello, as everyone is coming on in, and I love the number shares. Thank you. The energy of allowance. We allow so many things around us, and we want to allow things to come to us, like abundance, right? Manifestations, dreams, hopes, healings, connections. We truly do co-create our life. And there's so much around us that we right now allow, and that represents our energy. And so it's always important, whether it is today or in the future. Again, none of this is needed as a rule. None of this is needed as you have to do this. It's just kind of like reminders, right? Spirit reminds us. And then when the seed sinks, great. And when it blossoms into a beautiful understanding, great. Or an awesome action, fantastic. It's kind of these beautiful seeds of reminders. And so take into account all around you, your house, your room, just the clothing that you wear, right? What are you allowing into your energetic space? I wasn't even thinking, I just grabbed this shirt, but I allowed a brightness into my being. I've had this shirt for many years, so I've allowed this to be with me. But truly, it represents for me just this color, this vibration, communication, openness, professionality. It's a shirt that I bought with those intentions in the past. And again, I've had this shirt for a really long time, like 10 years. Okay. But it's just like the energy that stays with us Or when we have new energy, what parts are we validating within ourselves? Because we are a living, breathing life force. We have to acknowledge that we're forever changing, and these pieces of who we are from our past are still a part of us. Even if we said, hey, I've transitioned, you have to acknowledge how you transitioned and that process to really kind of honor the spark of who you are. So yes, older vibration, newer vibration with the copper. I got some octopus energy. I think that's awesome. This is a crystal sphere holder, newer energy. I have a mixture all around me. Tiger's eye sphere, newer energy. Rhodonite, older energy. And I could go on and on. I have a lot of really cool trinkets around here. Trollite, new energy. Okay. I actually do have a lot around here. Citrine, older energy. Okay. But everything represents something to you, whether it's a feeling. It doesn't have to be this lofty, like I have to know everything that I'm creating in my life. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. And if it gives you openness, if it gives you, again, a spark that reminds you of your own spark. And it's really, really important when you have a moment to go, what am I allowing? And if your room, and there's a couple things in this room that need to be changed around, if your room doesn't support your vibration, what have you allowed because you've put certain parts of yourself in the back corner? That can wait. That's not important. I have to do this first. I'm going to keep it like that, even though I don't want it. I'm going to reorganize when I have time, but I don't have no time. And so we back burner. We back burner things that are so natural within ourselves that just want to continue to be expressed and moved and opened up. And we wonder sometimes why we don't have energy. And it's really because we're not allowing ourselves to continue to train to be open, to continue to be a certain way. We go, my life and my things and the current situation is more like this. And what happens is our energy defaults to everything that's built up around us, the people we choose, again, the things in our environment, the feelings, the thoughts. It's so important to really be aware of what we allow. So with that said, just food for thought, and I want to continue to say hello to everybody coming on in. Hello, DC, Amanda, Bounty, hello. Thank you so much, Krish. Saurabh Gupta, we're taking questions about energy, but not doing readings today. I just want to continue to let everybody know. We will be doing readings on other shows. Jennifer, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's wonderful to keep using our soul over and over. Yes, to be present with their soul. That's where the power is, to be aware and present. That's where all the good stuff is. Last thing I'll say, and then I'll transition and I'll continue to say hello. But last thing I want to say is, so I went out to eat just a couple of days ago to a nice restaurant, celebrating an anniversary. And we had a lovely waitress. She was fantastic. And she was so full of heart and light. And she just went above and beyond to make the experience better. And it's because she was so present and she was so aware of if we like something. She would hand us a wine or food that we order. She's like, you like it? Ooh, you don't like it as much as I want you to like it. How can I make it better? And we're like, whoa, it's okay. It's good. And she's like, no, I want to know everything. And to the dessert, it didn't have enough cherries. She came out with cherries, when we weren't sure what to drink for wine. I rarely drink wine, even though I know a bit about it. She came out, she's like, try this, try that. And it's just again, she just elevated the whole experience because she was so present and aware. And it was just her being a good waitress. So in the many roles we have, presence and awareness, oh my gosh, worth their weight in gold. Worth their weight in gold. Hello. So I'm going to continue to say hello to everybody, but we're going to transition, and I want to bring in the wonderful Kristina Bloom. With that said, welcome.
Hello. Hey.
Hey.
How are you, Kelly?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you,
Awesome.
Kristina?
I'm fabulous. Yeah,
Awesome.
I have a little bit of an echo going on. I don't know if you can hear that, but
I can't. It's probably very subtly in the background. I'm glad I
yeah.
can't pick it up. So it must be very subtle indeed.
Hello, Perwinder Bill.
Right?
Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Hi, everybody. I want to make sure I give you a warm introduction,
Okay.
and then we'll continue to say hello to everybody. With that said, Kristina Bloom is a psychic, medium, and channel for the divine. For over 20 years, she has been facilitating individual and gallery psychic readings across the country, speaking in front of both small and large groups. And in addition, she facilitates a variety of workshops and retreats to help with your spiritual and personal growth. From intuitive you to the 12 universal laws for manifesting, her workshops and retreats are a wonderful way to help you reach enlightenment. Welcome, Kristina.
That's an awesome introduction. Thank you.
I try. You're the one living the dream, right? That's just like me saluting you,
Hi,
and I'm happy
Jennifer
to
and
do
Jennifer. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Two Jennifers popped in and said hello, so I wanted to say hi back to both of them.
Jennifer, everyone's saying hello to you.
Hello.
Barbara, Krish.
Drops of Jupiter. I love that. What a great screen name.
Train. It's like from Train, right? That song is great. Jack, hello.
Hi,
Arlene,
Jack.
hello. Perry Winder, thank you everybody for coming on in, and hello Fran. We'll continue to sprinkle you in. Thank you. I want to get straight into it. So one of the things that we were most excited to talk about today was your love of mediumship and how you use it for trance, and also the healing properties that really attracted you to this work.
Right. Well, first of all, when people ask me what my healing modality is, I say mediumship, because it is a very healing modality to help people get closure, to help people find peace when a loved one has passed unexpectedly, especially for someone who feels guilty because maybe they weren't there at the end of that person's life or whatever. It's like that is my favorite healing modality, is mediumship. I will separate that out from trance channeling, though, because trance channeling is when beings of higher vibration come through and use my body, and I literally go into a trance. I'm not even here when that's happening. So that, I find, is what the difference is between those two things. And usually those are teaching moments. Sometimes whoever it is who's channeling through me will take questions. A lot of times they just come in to share messages, and it's usually not personal messages. It's usually more, this is what's happening on your planet, or this is where we would like this to go. It's more like that. So it's different than mediumship in that in mediumship, I'm there. In trance channeling, I'm not there. That's the difference.
And so how did you learn then this type of mediumship? Were you in a class, or all of a sudden did it come up one day inside of you, the trance versus more mental mediumship?
Well, the trance actually came in. I was teaching a women's abundance group, and thankfully it happened to be in my home that I was teaching it. And I was trying to get a point across from this book that we were studying, and I could not, for the life of me, explain it the way that they were understanding. So, and I kept getting like this tap on my shoulder, like, move over, move. And I'm like, no, I'm not moving over. I don't know you. You're not getting control of my body. I'm not moving over. But eventually they just went, this isn't working, and kind of just pushed me aside. Fortunately, the ladies in the room had the wherewithal to take notes and let me know what happened, because 45 minutes later, I opened up my eyes to a room full of women, literally with their mouths hanging open, like, what just happened? And I remembered none of it. None of it.
And that's usually, especially if you have people around you helping to encourage you, that you trust, that's usually a good thing if you let go that much and they're like, whoa, like,
It takes a lot of trust.
You stepped back.
I did. Yes. Yes.
And what did they tell you afterwards?
Well, the ladies told me who came through. They gave me the name Bartholomew because someone thought to ask who it was. It was a divine collective, Bartholomew, how they came through. And best blackout ever. Thanks, Courtney. Sorry, I just popped up in my field of vision there.
It's okay. I'm glad you found Jess in that.
Well, they came, whatever the message was, and that was, I want to say 2006, 2007. So I don't even really remember what the message was anymore, but it came through very clearly and they got it. They understood it. But I apparently was not explaining it correctly. Otherwise, that probably wouldn't have happened. So that was my first time channeling. And after that, I've been channeling not just the collective Bartholomew, but several other higher beings of light who have come through for various reasons.
So you work with multiple guides, or you're just open to working with whoever needs to come in?
I work with my own personal spirit guides as well, yes. But those are not the entities who channel through me, at least not so far. So
you have Bartholomew, and is there anyone else that frequently comes in?
Christ consciousness comes in pretty often. The Marys, Mary of Nazareth and Mary Magdalene, and they generally come in together. That I'm trying to think of who else comes in. The I Am, which is just a column of light. So when the I Am speaks through me, it's more, I don't know, my voice changes somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but my voice changes with every entity that I channel. So most recently, I have been channeling, you sure? All right, they're telling me to say it. The Sasquatch or the Bigfoot community, both male and female. And that has been a very enlightening thing for me. I've always had a Sasquatch guide, or not a guide, but a protector, a Sasquatch protector. But this is more communication than just needing protection, physical protection. Yeah.
Do you consider like energies of the forest or Sasquatch like an elemental? Like what kind of spirit would you classify them as?
I don't know. It's hard to classify them as anything because nobody really knows what they are. They move interdimensionally. They can come through as both a spirit and physical because, you know, there is some physical evidence of them. But I feel like they have the ability to be both physical and spiritual, which we do too. We have that ability as well. We're just not used to projecting our consciousness through someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they do. They project their consciousness through someone else. And I have been watching some documentaries lately with other mediums that they talk through as well, or talk to. Either way.
Well, it sounds like, you know, this being, this Sasquatch, they're a bit of, you know, mediums themselves, you know,
They are.
a medium between planes, medium between minds.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have had really unique experiences.
Yes. Yeah. I have been, like I said, watching those documentaries and communicating with other people who have had communication with them. And it's been really interesting to me that they are choosing now, as we are ascending into the fifth dimension, to come through and start sharing with humanity, as opposed to just kind of hiding and sort of living next to us, you know.
What kind of then messages would then, I guess, different beings have to offer us rather than humans or past loved ones that are connecting?
Sorry, I was just reading. Yeah, T. Lynn had to come between the realms as well. Yeah. said Sasquatch are from a higher dimension. I believe that they have a higher energy to them. Okay, so the messages that come through like higher beings as opposed to loved ones, first of all, they're less personal for the most part. Our loved ones come through, they want to talk to us. They want to talk, your loved ones want to talk to you. Courtney's loved ones want to talk to her. You know, it's a more personal thing. With the higher intelligences or higher vibration beings, it's more, we have information that you can use to make everyone's life better. Or here's a heads up, get ready, something is coming. There's been a lot of channels that I've been hearing about with that lately, and not just me. I mean, there are channels all over, you know, YouTube and whatever. So yeah.
I think it's interesting to talk about this, and I think it's
Mhm.
important because everyone has so many different gifts.
Yes.
You know, some people are really, really connected to nature and the trees and the flowers, and they can hear them talk. They can hear, you know, the trees tell them certain messages, or they can feel that vibration, and that's something that they've had like throughout their life or they've developed. And, you know, those aren't my gifts. You know, I can connect to animals sometimes, people, other things in nature, but not always plants and trees. And so I haven't had always certain experiences that certainly you have had. I've felt elemental beings, definitely, but never some of the beings that are Sasquatch or other experiences that you've mentioned. So how did that, I guess, open up for you? Were you always connected to nature? Were you always connected to like the minerals or the roots? Or, you know,
I never went that far into it. I grew up in the woods.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Right. So for
But
me, it's
I like that simpler explanation.
right, right. I grew up in the woods. I grew up in nature. I grew up literally spending my days among the trees, you know, and learning to communicate how those different, not just with the plants and the animals and the minerals, but just nature as a whole, just feeling it and being able to understand in any given moment what my place was in that. But that wasn't always the same from moment to moment either. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Shifting and changing. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone coming on in, if you'd like to ask any questions about the topics we're talking about, please pop them down. You know, Kristina is a lovely, lovely resource and has so much experience. So we are taking those type of questions. Thank you for coming on in. And so, since you lived in the woods, then what happened when you were younger or when you were an adult that really, I guess, shifted your awareness beyond just being in a reading, beyond just being in a channeling environment?
Probably, well, first of all, two very major things happened early in my adulthood. One was actually my late teen years, but they both were, I guess. I quit drinking and doing drugs, which I had been doing most of my life at that point. And I went through 2 bouts of cancer that I recovered from. So those two things early in my latent teens, 16 to 22, those two things happened. And that was really profound, I think, for me in being able to understand that there was more to life than what I was living. Plus, I had been psychic my whole life, even as a kid, you know, and if anyone is listening who's been psychic your whole life, I don't know about the rest of you, but I know for me, I thought everybody could do what I could do because it seemed so normal. You know, it seems so normal just to be able to pick up on energies, be able to read people, be able to just know things because I'm claircognizant as well. I just sometimes know things, which has gotten me in a fair bit of trouble over the years. But
That's okay. Sometimes.
It is
Sometimes.
what it is. You know,
Depends on what it is. It is what it is.
I've ruined a few baby surprises.
Oh,
Without realizing that other people didn't know, because that's how normal it is for me to have that come through. You know what I mean? I know because you do it too. I know you do. Where you just know things.
hey, no, it's a good time. Sometimes, yeah, I have to go. I just, they don't want to hear it, so I won't say anything, right? Unless it
Same.
really comes out, and after it happens, you're like, this would have been so fun to share prior, but
Yeah, I know, right? It would have been. I have that sort of thing happen a lot, actually. So yeah, it is interesting as going through two very life-threatening illnesses in my early 20s, late teens and early 20s. It was really eye-opening for me, but it was still a journey from my early 20s, even through my 40s and into my 50s, you know, where I have been going through all of this stuff, and it comes in waves. I think that's the best way I can say it. It's like you're not in constant growth all of the time because you need a break, right? You can't stay awake all the time. You need to be able to sleep sometimes. And so that's where for me it has been like growth spurts and then level off, and then growth spurt and then level off, and then growth spurt and level off. So it's been a journey, and I'm sure that it's going to continue to be a journey for as long as I'm on this planet. And I think that's true of most people.
absolutely, it never gets old. It's truly always changing. You know, we're direct.
Mhm.
We're blessed. Once people open up their intuition, their mediumship, their psychic abilities, and they connect to a higher source than their own, you have a constant teacher and mentor always with you that is pushing your limits.
Always. Always, always, always. Keith, I totally get what you're saying. You definitely know who's lying to you and who's telling the truth.
It makes it a lot easier, those type of things. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm so passionate, and I know you are too, about sharing that psychic mediumship, healing, and this type of work is all for
Mm-hmm.
the betterment of everybody. It just gives you more information. It makes you sharper and clearer. Yeah, you're not going to feel
Yes.
like that when you're going through the change or you're stabilizing with new energy coming in. But
Yeah,
once you get settled, it just helps you and everyone else around you. And
mhm.
this work is not to be feared. It's such a helper. It's such a
It
healer.
is. It really is. Yeah, absolutely. Can I go back to Tracy?
Yes, I
Sh-
wanted to. And then can we take drops of Jupiter after Tracy?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Tracy says, I keep getting told I'm going through a spiritual awakening and have gifts, but I don't feel it. And that, Tracy, is not unusual because it could be a number of different things. And I'm sure that Kelly will have some things to add to this too. But a lot of times when we are told that we have gifts and we're trying to figure out what those gifts are, we're trying to think our way through feeling. Doesn't work. As hard as I have tried, I cannot think my way through feeling. So that is part of it. And the other part of it too, well, it's probably a lot of parts, but another part is that uh, when we are told something like that, we all of a sudden have some sort of expectation as to what it should look like, sound like, feel like. And maybe it doesn't meet those expectations. It could be more subtle than that. It could just be, um, and I know I'm not the only one who does this, but you just know when someone is going to send you a text or they're going to call you. You just know. And I usually check my phone about 15 seconds before it comes through. So I check it usually while they're writing, Jamie Lynn, I love you too. FFS to you too. She's a good friend of mine.
Hey,
um,
Jamie Lynn.
so, and I agree with Keith. I'm changing so much. Sometimes I get lost. Um, so I just wanted to share that though with, who was it? Was that Tracy that we were just talking to? Because yes.
Yes,
Um,
Tracy.
Yeah, it can come through like that very subtly, where it doesn't look like what you think it's going to look, hear, look, sound, or feel like. And you're looking for, a spark, not a burning bush, basically.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Looking for a spark, not a burning bush. And that's really what it is. Um, Sometimes things hit us over the head,
Hmm.
but the majority of energy won't. It's very subtle, and we
Right.
just have to learn that type of vibration.
Hmm.
And sometimes spirit does send us people to go, hey, like, I'm going to just reaffirm the signs and reaffirm that you are headed in the right direction, even though it doesn't feel that way, or maybe you don't even think that way. I think it's important. I love what Kristina said too. It is more of a feeling, and sometimes we're not even aware of that feeling. I
Right.
know that when I've received message, I'm a lot more open and I'm a lot more feeling now when people give me messages, and I, I go, ooh, that's what they mean. Or, ooh, I understand what they are. In the beginning, I was like, I don't know why they said that. And it just became an evolvement because someone would give me a message and I'm just like, I'm not sure 100% can take that. But then later I'd go home and I would meditate and I'd just be like, what is this? And I would open my mind and my energy to what maybe just came to me because I didn't know. And they would show me a memory about what the medium or psychic was talking about. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, that makes
That
sense.
that's it. Okay, got it now.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that is still attached to how I do things, even though I haven't always seen it that way. Yeah, they're right. Um,
absolutely.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
your spiritual awakening and your gifts, the fact that you've been asking this question now means that you are now making space for it to have happen.
right. Or for you to recognize it when it does.
Absolutely. I really believe that it is more
Hmm.
powerful than you're gonna expect. It's gonna start hitting you as
Hmm.
just as soon as you least expect it. You're gonna expect some things, and you're not gonna expect some things. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyway,
Right.
so I'm gonna jump to Drops of Jupiter. I think they have a great question.
Okay. When loved ones reincarnate, how do we still receive messages? That's really interesting because I have had that question a lot recently, because so many souls are reincarnating here on Earth, and we still can communicate with them. It's a form of telepathy, I believe. I believe it's a form of telepathy. So, when I have people in my life that I can communicate with mentally. Neither one of us needs to touch a phone or a computer or anything. We can just communicate with each other because we can feel each other. We can feel each other's emotions. Um, a lot of messages are given and received through emotion. It's the most common form of psychic ability or of intuitive ability is clairsentience, is clear feeling, which is kind of what do they call that? An oxymoron, because feelings are rarely clear. But that is the most common form of communication is through feelings. And we get those feelings and then we can turn them into words that our minds can understand. I feel like that's how we can still receive messages from loved ones who have reincarnated. And the other thing is they reincarnate as babies, so they're still very close to spirit and they can still communicate from spirit for I think the average accepted amount is up to about 7 years.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of explanations of why it's possible. And when someone reincarnates, they're taking on an how can I put it? They're taking on a new part of their soul expression.
Right.
Because I'm Kelly, and I talk about this a lot, kind of this frame of thinking. It's just the way that I view it. It's not I'm not saying that this is the grand explanation for reincarnation. But I'm Kelly and Kristina's Kristina, but Kelly isn't who I always have been, and Kristina isn't always who she has been. You know, we've had many different lifetimes and experiences, and that's why we reincarnate to have that very, you know, soul involvement.
Right.
And so when we reincarnate, I feel like, yes, there is what Kristina said, the feelings, the heart ties, that we can find one another and recognize one another. And that person has reincarnated again. So we will be stimulated a certain way, or we'll feel connected, as well as I actually do think a large piece of our soul is tied to the other side. So we
Oh,
could
yeah.
be reincarnated or not reincarnated yet, and still we can have access to our loved ones that we have soul connection with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very
Absolutely.
much a thing. Yeah, it's very much a thing.
Absolutely. I hope that that answered your question. I think we both put out some really good information.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
People are coming in saying hello. I think we had another question. Where we go? Well, this was a comment that I thought was really important. That
Okay.
could be a question too as well. Keith is, I'm changing so much that I'm getting lost. I think that's a very profound statement.
Yes, especially right now as we're hovering between dimensions, you know, because we're going into this, or we're already well into this fifth dimension ascension, but then we're still dealing with the 3D world because we're still physical beings in a 3D world. And that leaves us kind of hanging in between there, which is the time dimension is the fourth dimension, right? So it's crazy. I know I can't be the only one who time is just crazy messed up, right? It's just screwy. It is just screwy. Like I am like jumping ahead in time. I'm jumping behind in time. I'm all over the place. And yeah, it's changing so much that we're getting lost in it because we are literally hanging between these two worlds. If there was ever a hanged man moment from the tarot, this is it. This is the hanged man moment where we're all just kind of hanging in time as we're moving from one dimension to another.
It definitely does feel like we're being dragged at times, and then we're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
spatially, where are we?
Uh-huh.
Kind of, you know, putting our finger up and going, what does time and space? How does it go?
How does this work? And what planet am I on? Okay, all right.
That too. That definitely too.
Yeah.
This year especially, well, I've had, you know, last year and this year definitely, you know, just more busyness with a bunch of different things. But when I think about it, and I don't know if anyone else feels like this, there's certain things that happened last year that feel like, no joke, they happened like 6 years ago. And then there's other things that happened last year that feel like they happened a month ago. And it's all discombobulated. And I'm just like, I'll feel like that from time to time, but it feels just so all over the place this
It
year.
does.
And so we really empathize with you, Keith. And I
Yes.
think kind of the most inspiring thing is, and I know I feel this way, I would love to hear Kristina's kind of ideas on it too as well. But right before I feel found, if that's even kind of the direction we're going for, or right before I get an aha or something goes more expansive for me, and I feel more secure and go, oh, phew, I usually will feel, not always, but sometimes I will feel like lost, like, oh, I feel really mixed up. Okay, something's going to settle, something's going to sit, but I feel really mixed up. I don't like
Yeah.
this.
I can relate to that. You know, it really, it's like the not feeling settled, the feeling kind of lost, but also knowing that something is coming and not knowing what it is.
And that will make you feel lost. You're like, where
That
am I?
will make you feel lost for sure.
Something's coming, but where am I? What am I supposed to do with it?
How do I
What?
plan
Just
for
let it pass
this?
me by?
How do I get this on my calendar when I do not understand where I'm going or what I'm doing? Yeah,
Yeah. And
it's
it feels like the same old, same old. I guess I'm just waiting
mhm.
again. That's just maddening.
Yeah, it can be for sure. Yeah.
I like this, Danielle. I was told I'm a healer from a reading. I think this is important to address too. just from the standpoint of, and I'll have you take this as well, Kristina, people can feel that from you. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you're in a reading or whether you're in a conversation with somebody, people can feel like your energy is opening up or shifting, or that you are gentle enough when you're around somebody that you can give them a piece of energy that helps uplift them or change their own vibration, their own energy. So usually from one of two areas, it's because that energy is resonating and vibrating all around you, or you need to open up this part of you, and that's the next part of the journey to get you to where you need to go. I really feel like everyone is a healer, but not everyone utilizes being a healer, and you do really have to own and embody it at certain points within your life, or it's a part of you lifelong if you want that identity. So I think it's really important that that was brought up and for you to follow that.
Right.
Kristina, I'll hand it to you.
Right. Well, one of the things that I ask people when they say, well, I've been told I'm a healer, but I don't really get it. I ask a couple of questions. And one of those questions is, are you the go-to person in your social circle? Are you the one people choose to talk to when they're having problems, when they need to clarify something, when they need to get some clarity in there? You know, it's really interesting how people go, yeah, I'm the one that my friends and family come to. You're a healer. That's the kind of energy that you present to people that allows them to come to you and get emotional salve, so to speak. You know, that's one of the things that is really a key component to people understanding, because when we think of a healer, I think people have certain images in their mind about what a healer is or how it's done. And there are so many different ways to offer healing.
There are so many different ways to offer healing, and
Yeah.
sometimes, we get to do that for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So embrace it. Embrace it if you're finding more of that in your life.
Right.
Let's see. There are a lot of different questions. I want to make sure I also I think this is a great segue. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about personal care, because that's something that is really big within how you facilitate people and how you heal and help people.
Right.
And then I know there's some self-care questions within here too. So
Okay.
within your work right now, how do you see that coming up most frequently? People needing that, or you facilitating people in a certain direction?
People needing it, me included, because when I think of self-care, I think of our energy. So that's where it all starts. How's your energy? Are you feeling low energy? Are you feeling high energy? Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling not okay? When we have low energy, that's when we tend to get sick. I also incorporate this when I'm speaking about our personal energy and how to protect it. That's when I'm usually talking to paranormal people, people who are ghost hunters, people who are out looking for the boogeyman, so to speak. Those are the things that those are the people that I want to address, because I am looking at friends of mine who are seriously physically sick because they are not protecting their energy. And it's not just once, it's not just twice, it's for years on end. We need to be protecting our energy. We need to learn ways to disconnect our energy from other people, as well as from maybe some spirits that might not be good for us, or maybe even spirits who aren't, I don't even like words good and bad, but bad spirits, but they need what we have to offer. And so they connect with us to get what we have. And that lowers our energy, and that allows them to feel better. You can see that also in human relationships, because, we've all heard the term psychic vampire. Energy is always moving. Energy is constantly moving. But there are ways that we can, for a time, hold our energy apart from others or apart from an environment to be able to preserve our own energy. And I think that that's where self-care starts, because it's really about, you start feeling the need to get a massage or to go on a vacation when you're stressed out because your energy is off kilter. And yeah, energy is always moving. There is not one technique that will always give the energy. There's not one words, seriously, they just escaped my brain. There's not one technique that will keep energy where you need it. And yes, you can give and receive energy. When I'm giving energy and it's my choice, that's one thing. When somebody else is taking it, that's quite another. Does that make sense? I hope.
Yeah, I think there is, a push and pull. It's not just we're sharing energy right now. People can affect you and you can affect other people, and it goes in different directions and creates different effects.
Right. Absolutely. Keith KJ Jones keeps asking for a reading, but we're not actually doing readings. We're just having a discussion.
Yes, we're taking questions about energy and what we're talking about. So we were talking about self-care and energy right now, and we were talking about healing and transmediumship earlier. So if there's something going on within your life and you're trying to kind of figure it out energetically, but not a reading, pop down your questions. So we are interacting with y'all. It's just in a different way today.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So let's see. Yes. Karen says, yes, just got a yes, it does. I share emergence for people who need it. I guess she's talking about
energy. Maybe
healing.
that's, yeah.
Empathy can learn to box their, she's talking about protection.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Empaths can learn to box in your energy. Yeah. There are different techniques that I use for that, to teach people for that. Yeah, energy vampires. And the funniest thing about energy vampires that I have found, and I don't mean funny, haha, I mean funny, interesting, is that they don't know they're vampires. They don't know. All they know is that once they have spent time with you, they feel better. You will know that they are energy vampires because they're going to feel better and you're not. You're going to feel more drained, more tired, like, wow, what just happened? I need to go home and take a nap.
We can only do things for so long,
Right.
People sometimes think like, oh, I'm just always on, I'm just always open, or I'm always a healer, or this is just a part of me. And we are using energy, and we are in finite bodies. Our soul is infinite, our spirit's infinite, but we have come into a vessel where it's just like, hey, learn how the vessel works, or your vessel's going to get really tired, and then your vessel is going to have things happen that maybe you wouldn't want to have happen. This is all very real, and it's based on energy. It really, really is.
Well, everything is made of energy, from the tables and the desks that we're using to our bodies to the air we breathe. It's all energy. So it's a matter of how we're using energy and how we're sharing and how we're exchanging energy as well.
It's not a coincidence that we're talking about it. I know that every year I have to change my energetic needs. So you might have within your life, found the right kind of foods that are for you, the right kind of maybe music, or the time of day you go to sleep. But for me, I'm always tweaking it and I'm always learning more about myself. So again, never ending journey. And it's always important to keep people stimulated on maybe what they go, I need that right now. Okay, that works for me. And if it's a long-term thing, great, but I need that right now. Okay, I'm going to use that.
Right. I am constantly adjusting as well. Yeah. You're welcome, Karen.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
With Jess, let's see. Jennifer was talking about earlier, I've always been clairsentient and claircognizant. Recently developed my clairaudience and working on my frequency and vibration. Connect with my partner. I connect with my partner in dream states recently and discovered the milk and honey. Oh, that's really nice. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that.
I do too.
That's some questions. When I read tarot cards, I pick up the person's energy and read them on point. Yes.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
more we know how to work our energy, the more we can use modalities with it. So that's something I also wanted to ask you about, Kristina. You
Mhm.
have multiple modalities that you use.
Yes.
Do you find that we were talking about changing energy? Do you find that you gravitate to some more so one year versus the other, or are you always just constantly like, whatever I need, and I'm always using all of them?
Pretty much whatever somebody needs, and I'm always using all of them, whatever is
Wow.
available. Yeah. I mean, I will be like at an event, say a psychic fair, and somebody sits down at my table and they're asking questions, and all of a sudden it just becomes easier to channel than to transcribe what I'm hearing from spirit. So then I step aside and I let the channel come through. So that's something that in the last few years has been even more prominent for me, is that whatever the need is, spirit accommodates, and I'm open to allowing that.
And so, what are your modalities so everybody does know?
Oh boy.
I know, right? I mean, hey.
What I don't do is shorter.
Okay. Well, what are
Yeah.
what are
All right.
what are
So
some of the the main ones? You get to choose what you want to share.
right, right. Okay, so I do general psychic readings where, and the way that I do readings is maybe a little bit different than the way other people do them, but I just find it easier. I open up my heart chakra and I send a stream of energy that I can actually visibly see into the, if I'm reading for you, I would connect to your heart chakra. I do the reading. It's kind of a shortcut. It just gives me information pertinent to you instead of whatever else happens to be floating around in the environment. And then when I'm done, I pull my energy back. You get your energy back, and we go our separate ways. And so all of my readings I do that way. But there's general psychic readings and spiritual advisement that comes from spirit. I do mediumship. I do past life regressions and past life readings. I can introduce you to your spirit guides. I do tarot. I also do soul card readings, which are really cool because they're different than tarot. Let's see what else. Oh, Akashic Records. I read the Akashic Records. Um, wow. I just went through the list of things I offer on site, like at an event. So yeah,
There's a lot. No, there's a lot. And speaking
yeah,
of, you have an event actually coming up next month,
yes,
December 10th, and that is an Akashic record workshop. And
yes,
that's in the evening time, 7:30 Central
right.
Time.
Central
And that
Time.
is in
It's online.
Wisconsin.
It's
Wisconsin?
yes.
Oh,
I'm
online,
in
online,
Wisconsin. It's
online,
online.
online.
Yes.
Nice.
So
Anywhere in the
yeah,
world, you can attend.
anywhere in
7.
the world. If you are willing to be up at 7:30 my time, regardless of what time it is where you are welcome to join us.
7:30
Yeah.
Central Time.
Central
So in
Time. Yes.
in the Akashic Record workshop, what will you be going over?
I will be teaching people how to access their Akashic records for this lifetime. So in that, and I keep going backwards here. People keep asking me, why am I here? Why I don't want to be here right now. Well, you must want to be here right now because it's in your contract. You chose to be here
Mm.
right now. So what I'm going to teach people is how to access their Akashic record for their lifetime contract for this particular lifetime to find out, why are you here right now? Why did you choose to be here during this significant time of change? What was your soul's purpose in being here right now? That's going to be the focus of the class.
That's really, again, I'm going to say it powerful because, yeah, a lot of people say that even when they're frustrated or when they actually mean it, they go, I don't get it. I'm not reincarnating again. Well, it might be in your
Contract.
future, You're like, don't
It
be so quick
might
to
be.
say that. I'm never coming
I,
back down to earth. People say that. They
I've
do.
I've said it, but now what I'm saying instead is I'm saying next time I'm having a really good lawyer go over that contract with its fine tooth comb.
Your higher self created it. You're gonna contest your higher self.
I am going to
Like a
contest
lawyer
my higher
guide.
with a lawyer guide.
A part of me had to get this wrong. I need some help. Oh my gosh. Karen says, okay, guys. Oh, hey, thank you for being with us, Karen.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Karen.
A
Thank you
great
for being
dinner.
here. Yeah.
T. Lynn, does spirit play a role in our abilities development and timing? Mine was primarily claircognizance, but recently other clairs have been developing.
I would say that actually happens because you opened the door.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention to your claircognizance and you're trusting that claircognizance, that opens the door more for other things to develop, for different parts of your brain to develop, for different parts of your spirit to go, oh, well, now I'm seeing things too, or now I'm hearing things too. So I would say that a lot of that has to do with just the fact that you've opened up and
Yeah.
you're advancing, you're ascending, so your frequency is higher as you're doing that.
Oh, and she's laughing too. She's like absolutely convinced that I was tricked into signing that soul contract before my first coffee. Drinking coffee as a baby or coffee in heaven. Thank you.
Let's see.
So yeah, T. Lynn, I have experienced this too, and everyone's so different, how they develop and they change, and on even now, there's certain years where I find, my feeling is more intense or my seeing is more intense. So we're made to change and we're made to continue to open up parts of ourselves. So the energy might be more so in a part where they want you to discover this part of who you are. I'm being redundant, but I'm just saying it's time to live life or to experience life with this part because it's not closed off to us. It's just we haven't had that open. We shut it down, or maybe we just never knew that we could do that. But it's time to experience this part of life. So I think that's really a great sign. And it's like a huge indicator with what Kristina was saying, like you opened it up and it's working, it's successful. I started being way more cognizant than having the feelings or seeing. And then it started actually becoming a more of feeling and seeing thing. And so I'm less cognizant at times and I'm more feeling. But before, when I first started, I would just know it rather than feel it. And it goes back to our upbringing, like I wasn't always successful with being such a feeler. So I'd have to like really intellectualize a lot of things, right? So our energy runs on how we are. And then when we have the ability to be our true authentic self, it can start moving around, shifting and changing.
Right. Absolutely. And I have discovered too that just in talking with people over the years, that when somebody says, well, it's common sense, they might not realize that it is not all that common, and they might be the only one who got that message. It's a form of intuition in many cases.
I believe it. Yeah. Yeah. Common sense is absolutely. Had an episode as a kid, but last 6 months have really become aware and she's embraced it.
That's
Excellent.
beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
we slam dunk, high five. That's what you want.
Absolutely.
That's what you want. So the show goes by just like that.
I can't believe it's been an hour already. This is crazy.
I know. I know. It feels like 5 minutes sometimes, or 20 minutes at least. Yeah. I always give guests the last word. So whether it is, sometimes people have read a poem, they pull a card, or they have a favorite saying or something from the heart they just want to share off the cuff. What would you like to share with people before we leave?
You know, what's coming to me is that I have been seeing on a lot of social media that people are posting, what is one thing that you've heard someone say or that they've told you that has changed your life? And this is the one thing that changed my life growing up in a dysfunctional environment. If you want to be in my life, you have to treat me like you like me. I think it's such an important thing.
Yeah, I think it is too. We have to invest within the people and share good energy.
Yeah.
A lot of people need to think that one through. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank you for making me feel like you like me as a guest here today. I would love to have you back in the future.
Likewise.
If you have me, if you would like to have me.
I would
and
love
vice
to.
versa.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm sure we will have you on for a future show and tackle the
Excellent.
readings, as a lot of people are very excited for, as you can
Right.
see.
I can see that. Yes. Yes. Next time we will definitely tackle some readings.
Absolutely. So everyone coming on in, she's coming back, and we will do so then. Until then, you can find Kristina at kristinabloom.com, and she has her workshop coming up on December 10th. So please check it out on her website and her social medias. And I'm popping it down if you'd like to find her. Thank you, everybody, as you're continuing to come on in. Thank you, thank you. And Jesse, you wrote down your question right at the end. Jesse, come back, please, and we will answer it. Lots of love to you, Jesse. But thank you, T-Lynn, Jennifer, Michelle, Cindy, and everyone else here. Where you can find Kristina is in the comments and also on the screen. Check her out. With that said, we will see you next week for the Psychic Hour and also Embracing Infinity. See you then. And until then, go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kristina.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I'm hitting something. Isn't that fun? Spirit wants us to stick around for one more second.
What?